Kevin Durant isn't just one of the best scorers in NBA history. He's also one of the hardest players to hold on to. And now the rumors are back. The Phoenix Suns might actually trade KD. Not in 2 years. Not next season. Right now. But the real shocker? The team leading the race isn't who you'd expect. And if this trade happens, it won't just change one franchise. It could flip the entire NBA upside down. When Kevin Durant joined the Phoenix Suns, fans thought it was game over for the league. KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, 3 offensive juggernauts on paper at least. People weren't asking if they'd win a title. They were asking how many. But what actually happened? They barely looked like a playoff team. The chemistry was shaky. The defense was leaky. And when it mattered most, they got swept, humiliated by the Timberwolves in the first round. Just like that, the so-called super team collapsed before it even got started. No banners, no legacy, just regret. Behind the scenes, Phoenix's front office faced a brutal reality. They were $209 million deep into the luxury tax, locked into a top-heavy roster that lacked depth, defense, and direction. Even worse, they had almost no draft capital left. The Kevin Durant trade back in 2023 had cost them nearly everything. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and a haul of first-rounders. Now, with the window closing and no easy way to fix the roster, the unthinkable became the only option. They're shopping Kevin Durant. Not because he isn't still elite. He is. KD just averaged 27 a night, shot 52% from the field, and played 75 games, his healthiest season in years. But Phoenix isn't trying to reload anymore. They're trying to survive. And to do that, they might need to trade away their biggest star. The moment Phoenix opened the door, even slightly, teams came sprinting. Because you don't just shop Kevin Durant. You dangle a generational scorer, and the NBA listens. So far, 5 teams have emerged as serious contenders. The San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the New York Knicks, and the Miami Heat. Each one brings something different to the table. Assets, urgency, or a vision Durant might actually buy into. The Spurs? They've got the crown jewel, Victor Wembanyama. Adding KD to a generational big man isn't just intriguing, it's terrifying. And they've got the picks, the cap space, and the quiet respect of the league. The Rockets? Loaded with young talent, a deep war chest of picks, and a front office itching to win now. Ime Udoka already turned them around. Durant could turn them into a playoff lock overnight. Then there's Minnesota, the team that just embarrassed Durant in the playoffs. They're not satisfied with that one run. They want firepower, and Durant would give them a real shot at the finals. Don't count out the Knicks either. They've been lurking for years, waiting to strike when the right superstar becomes available. New York's hungry. They've got picks, and they're not shy about swinging big. And finally, the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler needs help. They've got the culture, the coaching, and the postseason toughness Durant respects. 5 teams, 5 very different pitches, but only one will get the yes. Out of all the teams circling Kevin Durant, one stands out. Not because they're loud, not because they're desperate, but because they're dangerous, quietly. The San Antonio Spurs are the betting favorite to land KD. According to DraftKings, they're sitting at 160. That's not just smoke, that's Vegas telling us something's brewing. Why San Antonio? 2 words, Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs have the most compelling pitch in the league. Come play with a 7'4" unicorn who just averaged 21 and 10 as a rookie and protects the rim like a prime Tim Duncan. Wemby's not just a prospect. He's a system changer, a franchise reset button, and Durant reportedly respects him a lot. Then there's the Spurs war chest. They've got assets. Young players like Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and even rookie Rob Dillingham. A top 10 pick, a lottery future, and they've got cap space, rare for a team this loaded with upside. Even better, San Antonio isn't in chaos. They're not burning through coaches. They're stable, smart, patient, and if KD wants to finish his career building something real, something long-term, the Spurs might be his best and last shot. Here's the problem with trading for Kevin Durant. You don't get a star like him without bleeding for it. And the Spurs? They've got the pieces, but it won't be painless. Rumors say Phoenix is eyeing a package that starts with Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and Zach Collins plus the 8th pick in this year's draft. That's not a throwaway offer. That's 2 promising young starters, a reliable big, and a top 10 rookie. Even then, it might not be enough. The Suns aren't looking for a rebuild. They want ready-now pieces that keep them competitive, or at least valuable trade chips. And Vassell, in particular, is a sticking point. He just signed a $135 million extension and has been one of the Spurs' best 2-way wings. Losing him would sting, but Phoenix won't move Durant unless it hurts the other team a little. There's also talk of needing a 3rd team to facilitate the deal. Someone to absorb salary or flip assets. Because KD makes over $47 million next season, and this isn't NBA 2K. You can't just trade bench players and call it a day. So the question becomes, are the Spurs willing to cash in their future to bet on Durant now? Or do they hold firm, waiting for a cheaper opportunity? That decision could define the next decade in San Antonio. Kevin Durant doesn't have a no-trade clause, but make no mistake, he controls the board. When it comes to superstars of his caliber, contracts are paper, influence is power, and KD has a lot of it. Behind the scenes, his camp has already started making quiet moves, conversations, nudges, suggestions. Not demands, not threats, but the kind of pressure only a superstar can apply. If Durant doesn't want to go somewhere, he can tank the deal before it even happens. All it takes is a whisper. I won't re-sign there. Or worse, I won't show up. That alone can scare off half the league. And Durant has always been intentional about his destinations. He chose Golden State to win. He chose Brooklyn to build. He chose Phoenix to compete. Now, he wants something more. Reports say he's not just chasing a ring. He wants stability. A final chapter that's on his terms. Not chaos. Not drama. Just basketball. And if he sees that in San Antonio with a generational talent beside him, a smart coach and a quiet market that won't light him up for every shot he misses, that might be the exact kind of ending he's been looking for. But make no mistake, Durant isn't letting the Suns decide where he goes. He'll decide that. Let's be clear, Kevin Durant isn't just some aging veteran riding his name. He's still a problem. A 7-foot sniper with a handle, a pull-up, and one of the deadliest mid-range games the league has ever seen. Last season, he averaged 27 points per game, shot over 52% from the field, and played 75 games, his most in nearly a decade. That's not slowing down. That's still elite. He may be 35, but he's not washed. He's not fading. In fact, some nights he still looks like the best scorer alive. Durant's game was never built on explosiveness. It was built on skill, length, touch, footwork, IQ, the kind of game that ages well. And he's still hitting career milestones. He's already crossed 29,000 points. He's on pace to join the 30K club this season, something only 6 players in NBA history have done. That's not just greatness. That's legacy. So any team thinking of trading for KD isn't just getting a name, they're getting production. They're getting a walking mismatch, a fourth-quarter closer, a guy who can take over a playoff series and has. If Durant lands in the right situation with the right spacing and support, he might still have one more monster run left in him. And maybe one more ring. While the Spurs might be leading, the race is far from over. Because behind them, the Sharks are circling. The Miami Heat are always in the mix. They don't care about odds, they care about culture. And Pat Riley is never afraid to make a big move. Jimmy Butler needs a co-star. Someone who can score on command, space the floor, and take the pressure off in crunch time. Durant fits that perfectly. And let's be honest, KD and Heat culture, that's a scary thought. Then there's New York. The Knicks have been chasing a superstar for years. They've got the picks, the contracts, the urgency. Jalen Brunson is a rising star. The fan base is starving. And the front office? They've shown they're ready to push all their chips in. A Durant homecoming to the Garden? It would break the internet. Minnesota, meanwhile, is a wild card. Fresh off sweeping Durant's Suns, they might look like they're fine. But behind the scenes, they're hungry. They know the West is wide open, and KD could make them favorites. Imagine Durant alongside Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert's defense. That's a brutal trio. And don't forget the Houston Rockets. They've got a deep young core, future picks, and cap space. Ime Udoka is building something, and adding a vet like Durant would fast-track that rebuild. Plus, KD's ties to Texas go way back. Each of these teams has a pitch. Each one could make it work. But only one will convince Durant and Phoenix that it's the right move. And the clock is ticking. The Suns aren't just weighing offers. They're walking a tightrope with no safety net. If they trade Kevin Durant, they risk blowing up the last sliver of their championship window. But if they keep him, they're stuck. No draft picks, no cap flexibility. A top-heavy roster with no real depth, no clear future, and no path forward. They've already fired their coach. They've already swapped out their GM. And now they're flirting with moving a top 15 player in NBA history. This isn't a reset. This is a crisis. Charles Barkley said it best. Phoenix needs to be very careful. Trade Durant for the wrong package? They'll be a lottery team with no draft picks to show for it. Hold on to him too long? He walks in 2 years and they get nothing. This is the Suns' make-or-break moment. They can try to keep pretending the super team will click, or they can face the music, pivot early, and rebuild the right way. But here's the hard truth. Whatever decision they make, there's no going back. Kevin Durant is standing at a crossroads. And so are the Phoenix Suns. The team that once mortgaged its future to win now is suddenly stuck between salvaging a legacy or starting over. And KD, he's not just another star on the move. He's the move. The one that could shift power in the NBA again, maybe for the last time. The Spurs look like the favorites. They've got the youth, the picks, the cap space, and Victor Wembanyama. It's a pairing that feels like a cheat code. But the Heat, Knicks, Rockets, and Wolves, they're still lurking. Each has the assets, each has a plan, and every one of them knows what a locked-in KD can do in the postseason. Phoenix has to play this perfectly. Durant has to pick carefully. And the rest of the league? They're watching closely. Because wherever Kevin Durant goes next, he won't just be changing teams. He'll be changing history.